Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day, where we will be concluding the reading of Tithi Gauri Mahalla Panjwa with the 17th stanza. And the recitation first. Salok Dukh Binase Sahasa Gaio Saran Gai Har Rai Man Chinde Phal Paya Nanak Har Gun Gaat Pauri Koi Gaave Ko Sune Koi Kare Bicharo Ko Padise Ko Drida Tiska Hoye Udharo Kil Bikh Kate Hoye Nirmala Janam Janam Mal Jai Halat Palat Mukh Ujjala Nah Pohe Tismai So Surta So Baisano So Gyani Dhanavant So Sura Kulvant Soy Jin Pajaya Bhagavant Khatri Brahman Sood Vais Udhara Simar Chandal Jin Janyo Prabh Apana Nanak Tiseh Rawal. So this is the concluding stanza of the composition that we have referred to and called Tithi. It's a composition of the fifth Nanak that uses the phases of the lunar cycle to instruct us on the passage towards the self, on self-realization. And in this concluding stanza, the Guru speaks about that condition and how the path of Gurmat is available to anyone, to any temperament. So in the Salok, he begins by saying that Dukh Binase Sahasa Gaio, my sorrows disappeared and my doubts were cleared. Saran Gahi Har Rai, this happened when I walked on the path of the Har Self, the path of Gurmat. Man Chinde Phal Paya Nanak Har Gun Gaye. Har Gun Gaye by assimilating the qualities of the Har Self, because the Har is known to us through its attributes. There is no other way to know the Har. And the Guru says that by assimilating those qualities, I realized the fruit of my meditation, man chinde phalapai, that on which my mind was focused, I eventually got. So this is a testimony to the experience of union with the self within. So what has been lost is sorrow and doubt. What is gained is the primal aspiration of the mind, which is the desire to know itself, wittingly or unwittingly. That is what we are all engaged in. And now in the stanza, the pauri, the Guru says, Koi gaave ko sune, koi kare bichar, ko upadese ko dride, tiska hoye udhar. Now, this is a description of the various methods, the various ways that we are all engaged in, again, knowingly or not, in the pursuit of the self. So the Guru says, Ko gaave ko sune, koi gaave ko sune. Some are engaged in singing, others in attentive meditation, and yet others are absorbed in reflection, koi kare bichar. And then there are others who engage in discourse, ko upadesa, and some hold firmly on to their beliefs. Ko drida. And all of these different activities aim for the same thing. Tiska hoye udhar. Udhar is to be saved or to be developed. And that is what we are all trying to do, is to develop to our potential. So the Guru says that indeed such a state is possible. The mind can be distilled of its chronic afflictions. Kilbikh katte hoye nirmala. Janam janam mal jaye. So janam janam, of course, the impurities of the mind, the impediments of the mind that have accumulated over a long period of time. Janam janam. The Guru says, through many births have you been accumulating the impurities of the mind. The impurities of the mind simply mean looking at the world through the ego, the lens of the ego. And that is indeed the basic delusion that we all suffer from. So this is an ongoing, long process. But the Guru says that the mind can be distilled of its chronic afflictions. And the intellect can be enlightened. Halat palat mukh ujjala. And it can become immune to the influence of Maya, meaning you can transform the ego. Na poetis Maya. You do that through self-realization. The Guru goes on to add that self-realization can be achieved by anyone, regardless of their social status or temperament. Khatri, Brahmana, Sood, Bais, Udhara, Simar, Chandal. Chandal, the dog-eating caste. People who eat dog meat were called Chandals at the lower end of the rung of the caste system. We have to note, though, that Sikhi does not obviously condone differences based on birth and caste. The mention of the different castes here could also signify different temperaments, not necessarily castes, although these are caste names. So the Guru concludes the Tithi by congratulating those who have achieved the self, by calling them truly wealthy. Jin Pajya Bhagavant, they are what he calls Dhanavant, truly wealthy. They are of noble character, Kulvant. They are warriors of the spirit, Sosura. Because they have heard the inner word, Sosurta, they're awakened. Their intellect, their minds, their consciousness is awakened. And they are filled with devotion, so basano, and possessed of discernment, so gyani. You see, this is the state that we are all striving towards. And Nanak says, I submit myself to those who are on this path and have realized the self within. Jin janyo prab apna nanak tiseh raval. Raval, the dust of the feet. A metaphor for humility and submission. So the Tithi has now concluded with this explanation of where we ought to be going. On that note, until the next time, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.